Hello, and welcome to the University of Suffolk Business Engagement Podcast. I'm Gemma Matten, Business Engagement Manager here at the University of Suffolk. And today we're talking about a really exciting professional development opportunity, our Level 7 CPD module in professional advocacy. I'm delighted to be joined by Jayne Marie, who's the course lead. Jayne, thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
So, Jayne, can you briefly introduce yourself and the role in leading the professional advocacy CPD module?
Of course. So my name's Jayne Marie. I'm a registered midwife. I've been a midwife for 28 years and I joined the university as a lecturer in midwifery 3.5 years ago. Last year, a colleague and I decided that we thought it would be a good opportunity to work with some of our local healthcare partners to develop the professional advocacy module. And as a result of that, we've implemented it. We've now got one cohort who have now qualified as professional advocates and are out working in practice. And we're seeking to make this a regular feature on the CPD programme here at the University of Suffolk. The module also aligns with one of the master's programmes that's on offer at the university as well. So it's a really lovely fit. Fabulous.
So for those who may not be familiar with the term, what do we mean by professional advocacy?
So way back in 2016, 2017, there was statutory supervision of midwifery because this is where professional advocacy has grown from. But after some decisions that were made by the government, they removed the statutory element of supervision of midwifery and introduced professional midwifery advocacy. PMAs, they were known as, had some additional training. So they were senior midwives who had a particular interest in supporting staff in practice. They had this additional training and then they become professional midwifery advocates. Then during COVID, the greater need for supporting of the nursing workforce was recognised. So then they developed professional nursing advocates. As a result of that, and because of the benefits not only to individual healthcare practitioners, particularly midwives and nurses at the moment, but also in terms of recruitment and retention and making work a nicer place to be and having a good supported environment, professional advocacy is now being rolled out into other professions. So there's been a greater demand for professional advocates across the whole healthcare spectrum.
This is a 10-week programme at Level 7. Who is it particularly designed for? I know you said it comes from midwifery. So is that the sector that it is designed for, or what other sectors could it go to?
We've made this course now very healthcare bespoke, but across professions. So it's not just aimed at midwives or nurses. So for example, on the current programme, we've got an operating department practitioner. We've had radiographers previously and physiotherapists, occupational therapists. So it's a lovely multidisciplinary approach, which is brilliant. We also have a multidisciplinary team who are teaching the module as well. So there's myself, I'm a midwife. One of my colleagues, Julie Blundell, is a nurse. And one of my other colleagues, Joseph Purdy, is a radiographer. So not only is it aimed at being multidisciplinary, so we all learn together, it's also facilitated multidisciplinary, which again is really advantageous. So we welcome any healthcare registrant. We work alongside the Nursing and Midwifery Code of Professional Conduct and also the HCPC standards and ethics that other healthcare providers work towards as well. So we combine both. So it's been great for all of us because we're learning about each other's jobs and professions, which has been really good.
And actually just having that whole insight of different people's duties and how it benefits them as well.
It makes it much more vibrant, insightful, and particularly for providers who send multiple members of staff, it's really going to have benefit because you've got people who have been taught the same content, but they're applying it in slightly different ways. And we do a lot of learning through discussion and experiences. So when you're drawing from people from all different aspects of the NHS, it makes it much more alive and much more realistic. And joint working is always the best way to learn.
So what are the key skills or capabilities participants will develop over the 10-week course?
So the way we describe it to our participants is we don't teach them a great deal of new knowledge because usually the people who join the programme have been qualified for maybe a year or two. And from that, they've got that experience of knowing what it's like to be in a healthcare environment. So they bring that along with them. They also bring their own personal experience because being at work isn't always a particularly pleasant environment to be in. And we often go through times of challenge in our own lives. So people often bring with them a motivation to want to help and support others. During the programme, we then do a bit of a recap on those main themes and issues. So we look at theories of leadership, change management, how to support staff when they're under particular times of pressure, but also how to help people want to have that quality improvement approach. And from that, we then develop practitioners that have the ability to have a toolkit. So we get them to practice different things in the session. So one of the main concepts of professional advocacy is restorative clinical supervision. And that's a method by which you can facilitate discussions with either an individual or a group of staff And this really is where the NHS is seeing the main benefit from being able to give RCS, restorative clinical supervision, to members of staff. And again, you can use that when things have gone wrong, when there's been a clinical incident, but equally it can be really, really powerful for individuals who are perhaps struggling with their confidence or their competence, or perhaps an incident has happened that they found personally challenging. And it's really through the power of RCS that we help the new professional advocates to learn different techniques and tools like a toolkit. I'm going to try this and see how it works. I'm going to learn, I'm going to reflect, and then maybe another time they'll try something else. So that's really it. They learn a lot about themselves, but they also learn a lot about other people. And that's why it's so great to have it as multidisciplinary.
Absolutely.
So during the programme, we offer them the opportunity through their employer to have a practice supervisor. So this is another registered healthcare professional who's got experience in being a professional advocate. So they can learn from them as well and make those links with other professionals out there doing that role already. So it gives them a little bit of a network before they even start doing the skill, which, none of us like doing something new for the first time when we're terrified and don't quite know what we're doing. So it's nice to have that support structure in place.
Fabulous. So from an individual perspective, what are the main benefits of rolling on to this course?
Yeah. So we get people who come onto the course for a variety of different reasons. Often it's because their manager has seen something in them that perhaps they're the person in the team who a lot of people take their problems to. Or perhaps they've dealt with a scenario particularly well, or maybe not so well. So usually managers will spot some of these people who have key skills really that need to be developed and nurtured. Individuals can nominate themselves for it as well if it's something that they're particularly interested in. It's a great skill for anybody, whatever career path they want to be on. If they want to go into management later, then you've got that natural route of helping in that leadership position. But we're really clear that professional advocacy isn't management, but it is about supporting staff. If you want to stay entrenched in your clinical role, so whether your career aspirations are to become a Band 8 specialist, for example, this can be a really good role for you as well. So if you are that nurse or that radiographer or that physiotherapist who really wants to stay working as a Band 6 and they enjoy that day-to-day clinical contact, again, it can be a really good skill to hold. Professional advocacy isn't about hierarchy. You don't have to be experienced for 10 years or hold this level of qualification or this level of role. It's really about everybody within the NHS, all those different clinical grade levels, working together to support each other. So for individuals, what they get out of it is they can be called a professional advocate. They can work with their trusts in the professional advocacy team. But really, it's about them being able to use real life experience and concepts to help their colleagues. And out of that, they automatically help themselves because it's good to help people. But also, it's good to help people when you know what you're doing. And that's what this module offers you the opportunity to do.
Fabulous. So from an employer's perspective, what impact can having somebody take this course have on the trust, on their department?
So the evidence base is definitely growing around what professional advocacy offers to organisations. We know from an individual level it has benefits, and this is why we had statutory supervision for so many years and why with PMA roles it's definitely helped with recruitment and retention and also quality of work experience for midwives. And that's definitely been seen within the nursing world. So for employers now, it's picking up on that opportunity in whatever team it is, whether you're a manager of a physiotherapy service or radiography or ODP or whatever element of the NHS, you're a leader and a manager, this can offer you that opportunity to give your staff something back. By having PAs, it will help you to know how your staff are doing because you'll be able to know the issues, what are the themes that are coming up. You'll be able to get issues nipped in the bud rather than them growing into something. The evidence base is really growing around improving recruitment and retention, and that's why the NHS is supporting more professional advocacy programmes, because the evidence is definitely there. That's the main benefit. Reducing sickness, reducing absence post-clinical incidents as well is something that's definitely seen. From my own world, I was an ex-head of midwifery and an ex-clinical governance manager, and that's definitely where advocacy type roles can benefit when you've got somebody who's going through a particularly challenging time in their career. And when they're burnt out and we're at risk of losing them, that's when an advocate can be the difference. So many trusts now have teams of professional advocates, but really now the focus is on spreading that more widely to make sure that everybody has the opportunity. I know that there's some trusts that want to do regular restorative clinical supervision sessions for all staff, and that would be the dream ideal really. But to do that, you need advocates. So that's the key really, is getting the people in.
So if someone is considering enrolling, what would you say to encourage them to take the next step?
Yeah. So the places are available, and I think really it's about being nominated by your manager. If you've got a PA lead, so a professional advocacy lead within your trust, often they're the people who will hold the access to these places. So I would go and have a conversation with them or with your line manager, say that you've got an interest. You're more than welcome to contact me or any of the team that work with me on the module to ask any questions and get any ideas and really present to your manager or your lead PA why you're the right person to do the module, because they'll be the people you'll be benefiting and helping ultimately. And also speak to your colleagues. We've had 3 people on the current cohort who were actually nominated to do the module by their peers because they saw a poster up in the clinical area and they thought, oh, that would be perfect for so-and-so, you should do that. And I think to be pushed to do something by your peers is a real sign of what you can offer and of what you've already shown to your peers. So I think it's really speak to your lead PA or your manager or put yourself forwards. Anybody can do this role. It's about having empathy, having insight, both personal and professional. But it's ultimately about being kind and wanting to help people. And it is a natural fit if you're working in healthcare. They go hand in hand.
Fabulous, lovely. Thank you so much, Jayne Marie. From our conversation, it's clear how impactful this programme is going to be, not just on an individual, on the workforce, but as the business as well. If you'd like to find out more about the Professional Advocacy Level 7 CPD module, you can visit the University of Suffolk website, or you can contact either Jayne Marie directly, and her details will be on the website as well, or you can contact the business engagement team. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on the University of Suffolk Business Engagement Podcast.